We're going to talk about a really powerful and pretty rare type of intelligence today. It's called metacognitive intelligence. And the best way to understand it, well, it all starts with a story. So picture this. You walk into a chess competition. You're just a kid, and the air in this place is so thick with concentration you can almost feel it. It's dead silent.
You look around and the room is just filled with people twice, even 3 times your age. And these are not your average players. No, these are grandmasters. I mean, these are folks who have spent their entire lives on this game, who probably dream in chess moves, who can see 20 steps ahead and know exactly how to trap you. Now you're good. You're actually the second best under 14 player in the whole world. But this is a whole different league.
Your match is against a 30-year-old Danish champion, and there's no time limit. 10 hours in, you're just wiped. Physically, mentally, completely drained. The game's in this weird spot. It could be a draw, but your opponent, he just won't quit. Then he pulls a trick move and your queen is in trouble. You know you can sacrifice her and still somehow pull out a win, but you are just too tired. You give up. You resign.
And then your opponent, he jumps up and he's laughing. "You gave up," he yells across the room. "You could have won." You just close your eyes. And that one moment, that single, stinging comment, it changes everything. Because this is the true story of Demis Hassabis, the founder of Google DeepMind. So why? Why would a prodigy, one of the best young players on the planet, quit a game he could have won? Because in that moment of defeat, he wasn't just thinking about the game anymore. He was thinking about thinking itself. And that loss, it revealed the very first quality of this rare and powerful intelligence.
See, in that room, surrounded by all those brilliant minds, Demis had this incredible realization. He'd zoomed out from the chessboard.
He's looking around and thinking, my God, look at all this brain power in one room. He thought if you took all these incredibly smart people and pointed them at a single research problem instead of a chessboard, they could probably cure cancer. Right then and there, he decided he was done with professional chess. He was going to spend his life trying to understand how people think. And this, right here, is that first quality. It's having the guts to step back and ask, wait, am I even on the right path? And then to actually change course if the answer is no. And get this, exactly 30 years after that chess match, Demis Hassabis won the Nobel Prize, not in chess of course, but in chemistry, for solving a problem that had baffled scientists for decades.
But that ability to see the bigger picture, it didn't just pop up out of nowhere when he was 13. Nope, it was built on a foundation that started way, way earlier, with the second quality, recognizing hidden patterns.
When Demis was just 4 years old, he'd play chess against a club player in the park, and he lost, and lost, and lost again. We're talking for months. But most kids would get frustrated and just quit, right? Not Demis. He got obsessed with a totally different question.
I mean, think about that. He wasn't asking, why am I so bad at this? Or how can I win? He was asking, what is he doing? He wasn't focused on the result, the loss. He was completely focused on the process, on the hidden patterns behind his opponent's moves.
And it's this obsession with patterns that led him 40 years later to create AlphaGo. That's the AI that mastered the game of Go, a game so mind-bendingly complex, it has more possible moves than there are, let me say this again, atoms in the observable universe. That number is just, it's impossible to even wrap your head around it.
During its match against the world champion, AlphaGo made a move. They call it Move 37. That was so creative, so completely out of left field, that no human had ever played it in the entire 3,000-year history of the game. It saw a pattern that went beyond all of human knowledge. That is the power of pattern recognition.
Okay, so seeing the big picture and spotting patterns, that's huge. But what good is a brilliant insight if you can't get anyone else on board? And that brings us to our third quality, simplifying the complex. And for this one, we're going to London during the 1854 cholera outbreak.
In one neighborhood, 127 people died in a single day. The top doctors all had a theory. It was bad air. Basically, a foul smell was making everyone sick. It was an old idea, something everyone just accepted without any real proof. But one doctor, John Snow, he was like, wait a minute, that doesn't add up. If it was the air, why wasn't everyone in London getting sick? So he tried something incredibly simple. He took out a map and put a little dot down for every single person who had died. And when he did, bam, the pattern was undeniable. The dots weren't random. They all clustered around one spot, the water pump on Broad Street. He didn't give the city council some long, complicated lecture. He just showed them the map. The The data was so simple, so clear, that they took the handle off the pump, and just like that, the death stopped.
Now, think about how most of us communicate. We kind of build our case piece by piece, right? We talk about this, then we mention that, and we save our main point for the very end. And honestly, it just leaves people confused. A consultant at McKinsey named Barbara Minto noticed this and came up with a brilliant solution.
It's called the pyramid principle, and it's so elegantly simple. You just flip it. State your answer first. We need to raise our price. Then, and only then, you give your supporting reasons. And here are the 3 reasons why. It's direct, it's clear, and man, is it powerful. It just cuts right through the noise.
All right, so we've gone from the 30,000-foot view of the big picture all the way down to simplifying how we talk. But there's one last piece to this whole puzzle, and for this one, we have to go from the grand scale down to the microscopic. It's about a relentless obsession with the tiny details that everyone else ignores, and it all starts with a simple walk in the woods.
So an engineer named George Demestral gets home from a walk with his dog, and they are both just covered in these little plant burrs. Now, most of us, we just get annoyed and brush them off, right? But Demestral couldn't sleep that night. He was totally haunted by one simple question. How in the world do these things stick so well without any glue?
So he puts one of them under a microscope, and what he sees just blows his mind. The surface wasn't smooth at all. It was covered in thousands of tiny, perfectly formed, J-shaped hooks, like microscopic little fishing hooks. But that amazing discovery, that was just the start. It took him 10 years of painstaking work, failing over and over with cotton, and finally figuring it out with nylon to copy that natural design. That obsession with one tiny, overlooked detail is what eventually led to the patenting of Velcro in 1955.
So there you have it, the 4 qualities of metacognitive intelligence. It's this constant dance, right? It's about zooming way out to see the big picture, and then zooming way, way in to spot the hidden patterns. It's about having the clarity to make complicated things simple, and then having the discipline to obsess over the little details that make all the difference.
And that all leads to one final thought for you to take away from all this. In your own life, in your day-to-day, just think about it. How often are you just reacting to the results? The win, the loss, the annoying burr on your jacket? And how often are you stopping to ask what patterns, what systems, what tiny details are hiding just beneath the surface? Because that, right there, that's where the real insights are waiting.